Okay, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie, otherwise known as Astroknotty, and in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do this Sundial Shrug. Now, this is just the cropped fitted version. I will show you how to also make the oversized version, and sleeves are optional. I'm basically making this tutorial today because of popular demand. This is my most sold pattern, and I just felt like I owed it to my customers to also just do a video to tag along with it. But if you aren't as good of a visual learner, I do have a written pattern linked below. This one goes into way more detail and I have lots of photos. It's slower, there's stitch counts, and I would definitely say this is a more intermediate design, but look at all my tester photos. So many ways that this can be worn. Try not to be intimidated by this one too much. I'm going to slow down and try to make this video as beginner friendly as possible. But like I said, today I'm only showing this cropped fitted version with the long sleeves. I will give instructions for other sizes, but for the sake of my own time, I did not want to make an oversized version. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go a little bit slow, so hopefully this is good for all crochet levels. Okay, so as far as materials go, today I am using about 2 skeins of weight 4 yarn. I'm also using a 5.75 millimeter hook, but you can use anywhere from a 5 to a 6 millimeter. And because I made the cropped and fitted version for my size today, I think I used only about 350, 400 grams total. And that really just depends on what size you end up creating and if it is fitted or oversized. And of course you will need some scissors and a measuring tape. So you can either use the magic ring or the alternative loop to start, but I am going to chain 4 and slip stitch to that beginning chain to close my loop. So slip stitch and pull through. And this is my own preference for creating a secure loop to insert my stitches for the first round. So we're going to go ahead and chain 4, and this counts as your first double crochet in a chain 1. You're going to insert 1 double crochet into the loop. So yarn over, pull through. You should have 3 loops on your look. Yarn over, pull through the first 2. Yarn over, pull through the next 2. That's your second double crochet. You're going to chain 1. And you're going to repeat this process a couple more times. So another double crochet into the loop. And chain 1. And continue this around until you have 12 double crochets total and 12 chain spaces. So we'll do another double crochet, chain 1. Now I am going a little bit slower today for my beginners in this video, so if you need to speed up the video, feel free to adjust the settings in the bottom right corner, or if I'm going too fast for my beginners, go ahead and slow it down. But hopefully the subtitles in the screen also help. There, we're just going to repeat this around with a double crochet and a chain 1 until we have 12 double crochet total. Okay, I finished some off camera, and once you have 12 total, you are going to end with a chain 1 and slip stitch to the top of that chain 3. And this is going to close the round. And our first round is complete. And now we're going to start a puff stitch round, and these are basically going to be inserted in all of those chain spaces. So we're going to go ahead and slip stitch one more time until you are in that chain 1 space. So make another slip stitch. And we're going to work puff stitches in each of those spaces. So pull up a long loop, and if you've never made a puff stitch before, I will try my hardest to slow this one down. But yarn over. Now you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert your hook. Yarn over, pull through. You now have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert your hook. Yarn over, pull through. You have 7 loops on your hook. And go ahead and do it one more time. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and you should have 9 loops on your hook. Now go ahead and yarn over and pull through all 9 loops, and we are going to close this puff stitch. And it creates this nice kind of bubble. Go ahead and chain 2, skip to the next chain 1 space and insert another puff stitch. So it's basically like a non-complete double crochet, and you just keep repeating this until you have 9 loops on your hook. Okay, so I'm pulling through. I now have 5 loops on my hook. I'm going to do this 2 more times. So I have 7 loops. One more time. I now have 9 loops. So you're going to yarn over, pull through all 9 loops, and this helps secure that puff stitch so it does not come undone. Then you chain 2 and repeat this process all the way around. In each chain 1 space, you're going to have a puff stitch and a chain 2 in between. So I'm going to go ahead and do some work off camera. Hopefully you got the hang of the puff stitch by now. And we want 12 of these total, and we want 12 chain spaces. So I will meet you around at the end. Okay, after you have your 12 puff stitches, you're going to finish off with a chain 2 and slip stitch to the top of that first puff stitch to close the round. And round 2 is now complete. So to start round 3, I also forgot to mention that you can change colors as you please. You definitely do not have to use a single skein like I am. It looks way prettier when you change colors. But to start round 3, we're going to go ahead and do a chain 1. This does not count as a stitch. Insert 1 single crochet into the top of that puff stitch. Now you're going to chain 3. Skip over to the next puff stitch and insert 1 single crochet in the top of it. And that's it, we're just doing a chain space round. So after that single crochet, make another chain 3. Skip to the next puff stitch, insert 1 single crochet. And repeat this process all the way around. Chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. And we want 12 single crochets and 12 chain spaces at the end of this round. And at the end, you're going to do 1 final chain 3 and slip stitch to that first single crochet to close the round. So we now have 12 of these chain spaces. And we're going to work some pretty little petals into this one. So to start round 4, go ahead and slip stitch 1 more time so that you are working in that chain 3 space. Now we're going to go ahead and chain 3. This counts as our first double crochet. Insert 1 more double crochet into that same chain space. Chain 1. 2 more double crochet into that same space. And this is our first petal. Now, you can have a hard time seeing this next part, but we're going to slip stitch down to that single crochet. And this is just going to help shape out our petals. So make a slip stitch to that single crochet. And we're just going to create 12 total petals for this round. So in the next chain 3 space, you're going to insert 2 double crochet, chain 1, and 2 more double crochet into that same space. And then you're going to slip stitch to that single crochet. Okay, and repeat that 10 more times until you have 12 of these petals. So in that chain space, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and then a slip stitch. And I'll meet you around at the end. Okay, and once you're around at the end, you need to slip stitch to that final single crochet, and you should have 12 of these petals total. Now to start round 5, you need to slip stitch a couple more times until you are in that chain 1 space. So slip stitch to the top of that chain 3, that first double crochet, slip stitch to the second double crochet, and then slip stitch 1 more time into that chain 1 space, because this is where we want to start our next round. So we're going to do another chain space round like we did before, because we're just going to build I don't know, just like a little mandala around. So to start round 5, you're going to chain 1. It does not count as a stitch, but go ahead and insert 1 single crochet into that chain 1 space, chain 5, skip over to the next chain 1 space and insert 1 single crochet, chain 5, skip to the next chain 1 space and insert 1 single crochet. And that's all we're doing. We're just chaining 5 and inserting single crochets into the top of those petals. So by the end of this round, we will have 12 single crochets and 12 chain spaces. Okay, I'm around at the end. I did my final chain 5 and I'm slip stitching to that first single crochet to close the round. And as you can see, we have 12 chain spaces and 12 single crochets. Now we're going to do a solid double crochet round. So stay where you are. We're going to go and start with a chain 3. This counts as our first double crochet. Now in this chain space, insert 5 double crochets. And then in that single crochet, insert 1 double crochet. And we're just going to repeat that around with 5 double crochet in each of those chain spaces and 1 double crochet in those single crochets. So basically inserting 1 DC in every stitch around. And by the end of this round, you should have 72 double crochets total. So don't forget to put 1 in that single crochet. All right, I made my way around to the end, and I'm going to slip stitch to that top of the chain 3, that first double crochet. And I have 72 stitches total. So we have this nice flower and this solid circle around it. Now let's go ahead and do a mesh round. So for round 7, you're going to chain 5. This counts as your first double crochet and a chain 2. You're going to skip 1 stitch and put 1 double crochet into the next one. Chain 2. Skip 1 stitch and put 1 double crochet into the next. And then just repeat that with a chain 2, skip 1, and then 1 double crochet. Okay, I made it around to the end. I'm going to end with a chain 2 and I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that chain 3 to close the round. And at the end of this round, you should have 36 double crochets and 36 chain spaces. So we have this nice mesh round. Now to start round 8, you are going to want to chain 1, and we're going to work into this chain space. Okay, so we're going to make 1 single crochet in that chain space, 1 half double crochet into that same space, 1 double crochet into that same space. We're kind of squeezing these all in there. Now you're going to chain 1, because this is the first half of our petal. We're just doing another petal round. After that chain 1, you're going to skip to that next space, put 1 double crochet in there, 1 half double crochet in there, and 1 single crochet in there. Okay, and we now have this completed petal. In this next stitch, make a slip stitch because we want our petal to have a nice shape. And this is the process that we're going to repeat around. So in that next chain space, go ahead and insert 1 single crochet, 1 half double crochet, 1 double crochet, chain 1. In that next space, insert 1 double crochet, 1 half double crochet, and 1 single crochet, and then slip stitch to that next stitch to form that petal shape. And I'm gonna go ahead and do some work off camera, but we're just gonna repeat this around until we have 18 of these complete flower petals. So rewind the video if you need to, slow it down, or just refer to the subtitles. But we are just doing another petal round. Okay, I went ahead and finished off camera, and I completed all 18 of these petals, and I ended with a slip stitch into that last stitch. Now to start the next round, we need to make a couple more slip stitches until we are in that chain one space. So slip stitch to that single crochet, to that half double crochet, that double crochet, and then one more time until you are in that chain one space. Now to start round 9, we're just doing another chain space round like we did before. So chain one single crochet into the space. We're going to chain 7. Skip over to the next chain 1 space and insert 1 single crochet. Then we're going to chain 7. Skip to the next chain 1 space and insert a single crochet. And just repeat this around. If you feel like your project is warping, you can either loosen your tension or size up your hook. But for the most part, your project should be laying flat. So I'm going to do some work off camera, but we want 18 chain spaces total and 18 single crochets. And then once I get around to the end, I'm going to slip stitch to that single crochet to close the round. And our chain space round is done. But go ahead and slip stitch one more time until you are in that chain 7 space, because we're going to do another petal round. So go ahead and slip stitch again. And to start round 10, we're going to chain 3. This counts as our first double crochet. Insert 2 more double crochets into that same space. Chain 1. 3 more double crochet into that same space. We're basically just making bigger petals each time. Now, to remember, we need to form our petal shape, so slip stitch to that single crochet. And our first petal is complete. To do the next one, we'll insert 3 double crochet into that next chain space, chain 1, 3 more double crochet into that same space, and then slip stitch to that single crochet. And just go ahead and repeat this process all the way around to the end, and you will have 18 petals total. So right now we have 2, and we're just going to make these petals in each of these chain spaces. And I will meet you around at the end. Okay, I went ahead and finished around 18 off camera. I have 18 petals. I'm going to make my final slip stitch in that last single crochet. And to start round 11, we're going to make a couple more slip stitches until we are in that chain 1 space. So right now we have 3 petal rounds, and we're going to do 1 more chain round and 1 more petal round before we start squaring this out. So this should be a little repetitive by now, but go ahead and make your slip stitches so we can start round 11 together. Okay, let's start with another chain round. So chain 1, insert 1 single crochet into that chain space. Now you're going to chain 8 and into that next chain 1 space, insert a single crochet. So we've already done this several times now. Now chain 8 and then a single crochet into the top of the next petal. And repeat this all the way around until you have 18 chain spaces. So chain 8, single crochet, chain 8, single crochet. And I will meet you around at the end. Okay, I finished most of my chain spaces, and I'm just going to end with a slip stitch to that beginning single crochet. Round 11 is done. You need to go ahead and slip stitch to the chain 8 space, and we are going to do 1 final round of petals, just like we've been doing. So to start round 12, you're going to chain 3, counts as your first double crochet, insert 3 more double crochet into that space for a total of 4. Now you're going to chain 1, 4 more double crochet into that space. So this is our biggest petal yet. Okay, slip stitch to that single crochet to form our petal shape. And we're just going to repeat this 17 more times for a total of 18 petals. So in that next chain space, insert 4 double crochet, chain 1, 4 more double crochet. And then slip stitch to that single crochet. And repeat this around until you have 18 petals total for all of those chain spaces. Okay, my 18 petals are done. Just finishing off this last one, and then like before, we slip stitch to that final single crochet to complete the round. And now we are done building our circle motif, and we need to start turning it into a square so we can have a back panel. So round 13 and 14 are a little intimidating, and I think my customers have the most difficult time with this part, so it is the reason I am definitely recording this video today so that I can visually show how I square off this motif, because the writing can get a little intimidating. So like I said, we are turning this into a square. Now go ahead and slip stitch a couple more times until you are starting in that chain 1 space. So slip stitch 3, 4 more times until we are at the middle of the petal. Okay, round 13, we're just going to make a bunch of chain spaces. So when you get to that chain 1 in the tip of that petal, we're going to insert a single crochet to start. And now we're going to chain 4. In the middle of these 2 petals, you're going to insert 1 double crochet. Just kind of squeeze it in there. We're going to chain 4. The top of the next petal, we're going to insert 1 single crochet in that chain space. Chain 4 again. In the middle of those 2 petals, insert a double crochet. It should be right in that slip stitch area. Then you're going to chain 4, single crochet into that chain space at the top of the petal. And this is all we're doing for this round, is repeating these very small chain spaces in between the petals and on top of the petals. So repeat this all the way around, and we will end with 36 chain spaces total. So double crochet in between the petals, chain 4, single crochet, top of the petals. And I'll meet you around at the end. Okay, I'm finishing my round with a chain 4, and I'm going to slip stitch to that beginning single crochet. This is going to close my round. And if you did this one correctly, you should have 36 of these chain spaces total. And we're basically going to turn this circle into a square. So this next round is going to be a little intimidating too. We're going to have some treble stitches in here. So slow down the video if you need to, because I think I am getting a little too comfortable working faster. But slip stitch to that chain space to start round 14. We're going to chain 4. This counts as our first treble crochet. Now you're going to insert 2 more trebles into the same space. So yarn over twice, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. We have 2 trebles. Insert 1 more treble into that same chain space. Pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Now we're going to chain 3. insert 3 more trebles into that same space. So we're basically squeezing 6 trebles in that space, and this is our first corner. So 2 more. Okay, and our first corner is complete. And now we're just going to square off this side until we get to our next corner. Okay, skipping to the next chain space, we're going to insert 4 double crochets. So the next space, 4 double crochets. In each of the next 3 spaces, we're inserting 4 half double crochets. So in the first one, 4 half double crochets. The next chain space, 4 half double crochets. In that third chain space, insert 4 half double crochets. Okay, now I'm switching it up here. In this middle stitch, we are going to insert a half double crochet. So right into this stitch, put 1 half double crochet. And we're going to repeat that process for the opposite side. So in the next 3 chain spaces, insert 4 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4. In that second chain space, 4 half double crochets. And in that third chain space, 4 half double crochets. Now if you feel like your project isn't laying super flat, you can loosen your tension or just size up your hook. But we do want it to lay flat and kind of square off. Okay, in that next chain space, 4 double crochets. And for our second corner, in this space, we're going to insert 3 trebles. Chain 3. 3 more trebles into that space. And now our first side is done and we have 2 corners. And that is the pattern that we are repeating for the remainder of the round until we get to the beginning. And because this part is so intimidating, I will do at least one more side with you on camera. But as you can see, it is kind of straightening out a little bit and we're getting rid of that rounded circle. So our first side is done and 2 corners. And if you refer to the subtitles below, you can just repeat that pattern along. So skip to the next chain space, insert 4 double crochet. In each of the next 3 spaces, insert 4 half double crochet. So 1 space is done. And the next space, 4 half double crochet. And in that third space, 4 half double crochet. All right, now don't forget in this middle stitch, we need a half double crochet. And then mirror that same process on the other side of that side with 3 of these spaces with 4 half double crochet, a space with 4 double crochet, and then our treble corner. And I'm going to go ahead and do some work off camera so that this video is not an hour long. Okay, so I have 2 sides done. I'm working my way around to the end. Once you get to the end, finish off with your last 4 double crochet and then slip stitched to the top of that chain for our initial treble. And you did this round correctly if you have 156 stitches total. So if I were you, I do recommend counting your stitches, but make sure that you have 156 total. And I do describe this more thoroughly in my written pattern, but for smaller sizes and people who want a fitted shrug like I showed in the beginning, I do recommend measuring now before we add any more rounds. And just compare this to the size chart that I had in the beginning for your shoulder to shoulder measurement. But again, we really only need to worry about this for people who want a tighter fitted cropped shrug. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to add a couple extra rounds. We're going to slip stitch to that corner space before we start round 15. And these next couple rounds are very repetitive, and it's just basically building onto our square. So we're going to start with a chain 3. This counts as our first double crochet. Insert 2 more double crochet into the chain space. Chain 3. 3 more double crochet into that chain space. And our first corner is complete. And we're just going to keep building onto the square. So this is a mesh round. We're going to alternate these solid and these spacey rounds. So we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip 1 stitch. Make sure you pay attention because this first stitch can be a little confusing. So skip 1 and into the next insert 1 double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, into the next insert a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, into the next a double crochet, and repeat this down to the next corner. And into each of those corners we're going to insert 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. So this is our mesh round, and it's pretty easy. At the end of this round you should have 100 double crochet stitches total. And again, if you feel like your project is just not laying flat or it's warping too much, I do recommend increasing your hook size and loosening up your tension. So I finished this first side of meshes and I'm at my next corner. You chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and insert 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do some work off camera to finish the rest of my sides, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, and now we're just going to chain 1, skip 1, and slip stitch the beginning chain 3 to close the round. And now with all of these square rounds, we're just going to keep slip stitching to the corner to start each round. And you can take measurements after each round depending on how fitted you want your shrug to be. If you want an oversized shrug like I showed photos of in the beginning, you're just going to repeat these square rounds as many times as you want. But I'm trying to meet my shoulder measurement for the sake of this video so I can have a fitted shrug. Now to do this next round, we're doing solid double crochets. So insert 3 double crochet, or sorry, 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet into that chain space. And we're going to insert 1 double crochet in each stitch and 1 double crochet in each chain space. And this is called our solid double crochet round. So in that chain space, insert a double crochet. Into that stitch, insert a DC. And repeat this all the way down to the end. Once you get to that next corner, insert 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet. And that is it for this solid round. I'm going to do some work off camera. At the end of this round, you should have 196 stitches total. So this is just a solid round. Okay, and at the end, I'm just going to close up the round by making some slip stitches. And as you can see, we are forming this really nice square panel. You can end up blocking this one if you want, but I don't think it's necessary since we are going to be folding it into a shrug. And really, you can just keep repeating rounds 15 and 16 as many times as you'd like until you reach like your desired coverage for your panel. I've seen people repeat this round 10, 15 times for like a really oversized cocoon shrug. It's just up to you, and I don't have the time for it in this video, so I'm not making an oversized version. So mine is about 17 inches, but if you want, you can keep making this until it reaches both of your elbows. And this square can really just be as big and as large as you'd like. I'm going to then show you how to fold your square into a cocoon. and also add some optional sleeves and also extend the front. So there's a lot to this project. It can seem a little intimidating. I think I'm going to go ahead and do one more round on camera though. So I'm going to do a mesh round. So 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. And that's it. You really just alternate those rounds until you reach your desired square size. Then you can skip to the next part of the video and I will show you how to turn our square into a cocoon shrug. So just alternate those rounds. Chain 1, skip 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, 1 double crochet. All right, I finished making mine to my desired width. You can, again, like I keep saying, just make this as wide as you want. You can repeat these rounds as many times as you want. You can make a blanket. It doesn't have to be a shrug. But I'm going to show you now how to make these armholes. We are going to fold our project in half and connect these two corners. So as you can see, we will just be seaming these up and making some armholes. Now it doesn't matter which way you fold this because it is a square, so just fold it in half either way. And your armholes can be as big or as small as you'd like. I've seen people have really large armholes or really tight ones to kind of cuff their, I don't know, sleeves. So I think I'm going to close up just a couple of stitches. I'm going to connect these two corners and I'm going to make a single crochet seam. And this is really just based on your preference for how tight you want your arm opening to be. I do prefer a single crochet seam, but you can use a tapestry needle or whatever you prefer. And this really is just based on preference for how tight you want your sleeve opening to be. But my version is going to be fitted, cropped, and a little, you know, more tight than I would normally wear my clothing. And I think that's about good. I'm going to match this on the other side with the exact same stitch count so that my sleeve openings are exactly the same. So you'll connect these two corners and repeat the same process for whatever sleeve opening you prefer. And I feel like I'm being really repetitive, but I can't help it. I've had so many questions and suggestions for creating this video. This project is so customizable and I really like that with my patterns. I don't want a, one size fits most because not everybody's going to want fitted sleeves or loose sleeves or even sleeves at all. So I like to give my customers and just, I don't know, pattern supporters many options because why not? I mean, I think it teaches a lot about freehanding and just creating projects from scratch in general. I just don't think that there should be just one box for a project. There should be so many different ways to customize them. Okay, and once you're done with your arm seams, we're going to flip our project inside out because obviously we want our seams to be on the inside. And this can look a little wonky right now, especially if you made a small version like me. But we're going to go ahead and add some rounds to the front of our shrug for some better coverage, and I will also show you how to add some sleeves if you want, but right now both of these are optional. We are going to work on the front trim. I really highly recommend this, especially if you did this smaller version. And we're just going to make some double crochet rounds and a couple of increases. I do recommend increasing your hook size or at least loosening up your tension, but attach your yarn and hook anywhere on the front. And we are going to insert one double crochet in each stitch and each chain space. So yeah, this first round along the trim is just a solid double crochet with one in each stitch. And we're going to do probably as many rounds as you prefer, but I do recommend at least 3, maybe 4. And I'm going to go ahead and do some work off camera. But just go ahead and do one double crochet in each stitch along the front trim round. All right, and for round 2, we're going to do some increases. So start with the chain 3, counts as your first double crochet, Into the next stitch, insert 2 double crochets. In the next stitch, 1 double crochet. In the next 2 double crochets, and we're going to repeat this all the way around. We're just basically making some increases so that we form this nice kind of folded collar, and also so the front of our shrug isn't so tight. So 2 double crochet in every other stitch, 1 double crochet in every other stitch, and I will meet you around at the end. Okay, just when you get down to the end, just slip stitch to your beginning stitch to close the rounds. And for round 3, we're going to do another solid double crochet round, no increases. So just insert 1 double crochet in each stitch until the end. And you can repeat this double crochet round as many times as you'd like. Try on your shrug as you go, just see how much of a trim and coverage you want, but just know that the more rounds you add, the more folded this collar up top will get. You can also alternate the increased rounds with these solid rounds if you want more of like a wavy shrug up front. It's really up to you. Like I said, this pattern is super customizable and just unique to every person. One thing I did not include on camera was my final round. I did add a bright red single crochet border, and I just think that it kind of brought all the colors together and cleaned up the look. So that is also an option. You can do a single crochet border at the end. But this is what it's looking like. And mine and yours may look way different depending on what size you decided to do. But this is the gist of it. And I'm going to do some more work off camera and build a couple of these collar front trim rounds. Okay, so I finished some more front coverage. I think I did, I don't know, about 5 rounds total. And it just added a lot more coverage to the front. And I did start one of my sleeves off camera because I'm running low on yarn. So that's another reason why this project was more smaller than my usual ones. But the sleeves are pretty easy and they are optional. We're just going to alternate solid double crochet rounds and mesh rounds until you reach your desired coverage, basically. So I will show you how to work on some sleeves if that is something you are interested in. Okay, to start the sleeve, just attach your yarn and hook to, I do recommend the armpit seam area, just so we can hide our working seams. And we are going to start with a mesh round. So chain 4. This counts as your first double crochet in a chain 1. Skip 1 stitch, 1 double crochet into the next. Chain 1. Skip 1 stitch, 1 double crochet into the next. Chain 1. And just repeat this until you get all the way around that sleeve hole opening. And this should seem pretty familiar because we did it on the square rounds. Okay, once you get around to the end, if you have 1 or 2 stitches left, just go ahead and chain 1 and skip them both. It's totally fine and not the biggest deal. Then slip stitch to the top of that chain 3 to close the rounds. And if you do find after this first round that your sleeve is too tight or too loose, go ahead and adjust your seam, pull out all those stitches, adjust your seam, and then create your sleeve again. So now we're doing a solid double crochet round. Start with a chain 3, in that chain 1 space insert a double crochet, in that stitch insert a double crochet, and repeat this all the way around with 1 DC in each stitch and each chain space. And the sleeves are really as easy as that. We're not doing any increases, it's just a straight sleeve. And you're going to alternate these rounds until you reach your desired size. And at the end, you're just going to slip stitch that chain 3 to close the round. Now, when you are making your sleeves, you can feel free to experiment. You can just do mesh rounds. You can just do double crochet rounds. It's completely up to you. Because I'm running so low on yarn, I'm only going to do like a 3/4 sleeve. And I'm going to show you how to do some ribbing kind of detailed cuffs afterwards. So if you're interested in having like a nice accent on your sleeve cuffs, I will show you that next. But go ahead and continue and then repeat this for your second sleeve with the exact same rounds and the exact same stitch counts. Okay, my first sleeve is done, and this is an option for those who kind of want this nice ribbed textured cuff. It's really easy. We're just going to be doing double crochet stitches. But if you've never done it, we are using a front post and a back post method. So it creates this really easy ribbed stitch. So attach your yarn and hook in any color that you want for these wrist cuffs at the end of your sleeve round. We're going to start with a full double crochet round. And I did size down my hook for this because I want a bit of a tighter sleeve cuff. So that's an option as well. We're going to chain 3, counts as your first double crochet. Insert 1 double crochet in each stitch around because we're just starting with a regular DC round. Alright, once you get to the end, slip stitch the beginning chain 3 to close the round, and now we are going to start our ribbing. So start with a chain 3, this is a regular double crochet. In the next stitch, we are going to do a front post double crochet. So watch closely. The way that we are grabbing it, we are pulling that previous stitch to the front, and we're just creating a double crochet. The next stitch is a back post, so you need to pull it from the back on that previous double crochet, complete your double crochet. Next stitch is a front post, and these are just regular double crochets. It just depends on how you insert them. And we're going to alternate with a front post, back post, front post, back post. So slow down this part if you need. It can be a little confusing, and I'm rushing through it because it was really late at night. But we're doing a front post double crochet and a back post. And that's it. We're going to continue this for the rest of the round, creating this ribbed, like 3-dimensional detail. And I just think that this is the easiest way to do any kind of ribbing because it's just double crochet stitches. But I'm going to finish my shrug off camera. I did do a single crochet border on the front. I only did about 4 rounds of the ribbing, but you can do as little or as more as you prefer. But I think that it accentuates the shrug so well. And that is it. And of course, whenever you are done with the first sleeve cuff, go ahead and repeat the exact same process for your second sleeve cuff, and then your project is all done. You can do a single crochet border on the front to clean it up, add some laces to corset tie it, and that really is it. I'm so thankful for all the support I've had with this pattern, and I'm glad I'm finally able to publish a video to go along with it. I'm sorry I didn't do the oversized version, but I hope that this one was easy-ish and kind of helps you get the gist of different ideas. But thank you so much for tuning in. Please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting below, and I appreciate y'all so much.